Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Cole Zarek. Welcome to the channel and thanks for stopping by. Today we have an interview for you with Thiago. He's an artist on SoundCloud. If you don't know, he has over 3,000 followers, but what really matters is what we talk about in the interview. We talk about stuff like the different cadences he uses, like how he raps really aggressive and then changes the tone of his voice. We talk about how he came from Brazil when he was young to the States and how much that American culture, like video games, influenced how he perceived like music, what age he started when he started rapping and writing and recording, some of the different dynamics he has when he writes his music. So it was a really awesome conversation. Me and TJ had a lot to talk about with him. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, hit the like button and subscribe for more content. We do interviews like this all the time with awesome rappers that you may or may not have heard of. If you're a fan of Thiago already, then welcome. And without further ado, I'll stop talking. You guys enjoy the video. Peace. I always check out who like sends me something, even if it's like blatantly spam. Like, I'm just curious.
If someone sends me like just a link to a track, then I won't check it out. Like, nothing else is in the message except for the link. I'll be like, fuck this guy, I don't want to listen to his music. If it's like a personalized like if they're asking for feedback, a lot of times like I'll actually like give a detailed like feedback thing on what could be better.
But, I think this is interesting because no matter what level you're at, there's always some degree of spam, whether you're receiving it or you're sending it out. So what would have you like listen to someone's song if they sent it to you?
Just as long as it's not just the link, and if they don't follow it up with can we get a collab going now? Like, then I won't listen to another song.
I think that's the biggest.
Right, yeah,
that's like the biggest thing is like you trying to collab like after sending a link is probably one of the biggest like red flags.
Really?
Of like, oh yeah.
So what do you need to verify? Like what lets them into the gate of being able to collab? Is there like a requirement, or is it just like a relationship?
It starts with not saying the words trying to collab. Like TRYNA.
Yeah, don't
collab. Like, if you can't type out the words like I would like to work with you, you just say
just
trying to
the word
collab.
Collab itself.
The collab, yeah, the connotation
like
with that.
It has a negative connotation to it.
Yeah, just like I when I hear collab, I also hear like fire and and mixtape and that's usually what turns me off to stuff like that. I
don't rap, so I don't really know how that stuff goes, but I mean, I figure like just based off of like to greet somebody, you're not gonna just start off with, oh, so you want to collab now, after sending one message with your link in it.
Yeah, well, you were saying that Mark Battles was telling you how he never checks up on if someone like compliments the artist just to say later, hey, you want to work on a song. Like, what were you saying about that? Remember you? I think that resonated with me because I took it as like, oh, because like I've gone onto SoundCloud and like just complimented someone and been like, oh my gosh, I've been listening to your stuff like all the time. And then maybe like a week later I'd find like a song and I'll be like, oh, like I want to see if this person's interested in being on it. But in that sense, it's kind of deceptive because it's like you're trying to sow your own like seeds of like later I'll want to ask you for a collab, so let's try to network right now.
Yeah.
So I can see the kind of underhandedness of that approach.
Of just kind of being very deceiving, building a relationship strictly for the reason of that.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, yeah. It's hard. I mean, but I think if you are an artist, and I'm not, so I'm just speculating, but I feel like if you are an artist, it could be different. Like, when you could like them as a person, you do want, like, as much as you know about them, but you could want to, like, build a dialogue to get to a collab, and then once you guys collab, I mean, you can still keep the dialogue going. I don't know if there's, like, if they have, like, any specific way of, besides if you charge, then it's different, but, I mean, people who don't charge, It's like you don't gotta worry. If they do charge, you don't really gotta worry about that. Then it's like, oh, here's the money. Like him, you're gonna have to pay some money.
Or wait a full year for a paid collab,
Yeah.
like somebody did,
Oh, yeah.
like I did. Well, we're talking to the king of collabs here right now with Thiago. Do you have any interesting stories about like collabs that have gone like wrong?
Or that you regret, maybe? Is there anything that you would regret?
I mean, there's a lot of collabs that just never happened, that just like hung up in the air. And I don't know, me personally, a lot of the times I just collab with someone if I like the track that they're working with. If I like the sound of it, like I'll just do a verse for free most of the time. Like I feel kind of scummy asking for money, and I don't know why that is, because like if you don't charge, it's kind of like you're not putting value behind your art. And I don't know, I've talked to other rappers about this, and when I tell them, oh, I've done this collab for free, I've done this collab for free, they're like, why the fuck did you do that? Why did you not charge? Like, you're worth more than that. But I don't know. It just depends. I mean, like, the main thing is, like, if I collab with someone, it's because I like the track, I like the sound, I generally don't charge.
Yeah.
But if I don't like the sound and they keep, like, pushing, like, yo, no, I need to get you on this track, then maybe, like, I will charge and I'll still do it. But the thing is, like, the final product won't be as good as if I was actually feeling the rest of the track. You know? So, like, I'll have this collab track that I made with someone that I got money for, but I don't like how it turned out in the end. And, like, the way my SoundCloud page is set up, I keep all the reposts up there just so, like, whoever really likes my music, they can see like the entire catalog of what I've done over the past few years. But yeah, that's just me. I probably shouldn't have said that.
No, it's just basically if you ask Thiago for a collab and he says pay me, find a different beat. That's all you need. That's basically just what it is.
No.
Like, make a new song and wait till he says, okay, you don't gotta pay me anymore. And then I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's how it stands right now. But, like, in the future, if I ever try to actually make this like a career, like a career that earns me money, because right now it's just something I'm passionate about, that I like use as an outlet to get stuff off my chest. It's not really putting bread on the table, you know?
Yeah.
But if it ever does become that, if I ever want to fully put all my chips into making hip hop music, then that might change. I might start charging for collabs, even if I do like the track that they're going for.
Yeah, I think people get scared I think sometimes people could get scared, not scared to charge, but like if they ask for money, they feel like they're portraying that they're better than not better than you, but that you're gonna gain something from this, so you need to pay me to give you a verse.
Yeah,
I think artists will sometimes be scared to ask, because even though that's not what they're trying to convey, to people who would have to pay, it could come across as like, oh, he's gonna ask me to pay, like as if I'm gonna get some crazy big publicity or some kind of benefit from this.
Well, I mean, that's what selling reposts are for.
Yeah,
some people sell reposts on SoundCloud.
I mean, there's like barriers with that, because you're dealing with money, you're dealing with people you don't like, are not like really close friends with. So I think it's just the sense of getting past these barriers and be like, okay, this person is charging. They have a way bigger following than I do, and maybe their audience is someone who is might be interested in my music. So right there, you're already building a case for why it would be a financial investment. Going all corporate, financial investment, but like to have people look into your music through this collaboration. So if you want to like invest in your money, you have to like identify those barriers and get past them, and not be like offended when someone's like, oh, well, I charge this much. There's like a balance.
Some people do.
Yeah. And like if you're like reaching out for collabs, it's like it's polite to not just assume that they're gonna give it to you for free and then be offended when they charge. You should be ready for anything, especially if it's someone outside of your like follower base, you know?
Network.
Yeah, I feel that. I could agree. I think that's how it kind of should be thought of. I just know that there, like, from talking to some people, there are people who are like, I would ask for them to pay money, but I feel so weird doing it because I don't want them to take it a certain way. And I agree that, like, if you do get offended from somebody asking you for money for a collab, like I feel like that's not a thing to get mad about, because like you said, you should expect you shouldn't expect something for free, especially when they gotta take time, when it's something like writing.
Yeah, but Thiago, do you have your own like recording setup, or do you have to go out?
Well, like at my house, I just use my MacBook Air, and I have an AT2020 USB mic with just like a regular mic stand pop filter.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been using that for like the past 5 years, and it's like the most basic setup ever.
Yeah.
Like when I talk to other people who make music, they have an audio interface, like the Scarlett one.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Popular. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I got
like
it for
I didn't
Christmas.
even know what that was until like a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I have like the most basic ass setup ever.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, I still live at home with my family, and I don't like recording when there's people in the house.
Yeah.
And they're always in the house. So like I'll be recording like some super hype like trap track, just screaming my lungs out. And I don't want to
someone to walk in and kill the vibe, right?
Yeah. Well, not even that. Like, they don't care. Like, they know that I make music and that I get loud. It's just more of, it's me. Like, it's more of a subconscious thing. Like, I'm recording and I'll be thinking about it, like, in the back of my head.
Yeah.
So recently I've been going over to the university recording booths that they have, which is nice, but it's also not soundproof. So I just can't get away with screaming and nobody hearing me. It's all good, though.
Is it like a college? Like out there?
What was that?
You say university recording booth?
Yeah.
Like a college,
Yeah,
like a campus?
Yeah, it's in our library. We have 2 libraries. There's like a newer one and an older one.
Mm-hmm.
And the older one just got these new sound booths. And they also have like, what are they called? Like MPDs, MPKs, MIDI keyboards. So people go in and they do more than just voice recording. It's pretty nice.
That's pretty neat.
Wow.
Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Brazil, and we moved like in 2000, 1999-ish, to North Carolina.
Wow.
And I've been there since. I've been here since.
How old were you when you moved?
Like 4.
Are both your parents from there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're like all of our families like from the same like state in São Paulo.
Uh-huh.
And we go back like at least every other year, so I can stay in contact like with my cousins and my grandparents and all that.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the time you spent in Brazil, like up until you were 4? Any moments?
Can't think of any particular moment. I can think of moments like when I went back for the summer to visit, but like moments before I moved, they're kind of just
you're pretty young.
Very blurry
Yeah.
in my head. Yeah.
Did you guys move to the States for, like, was it parents' work or?
Yeah, it was for my dad's job.
Okay.
He worked at IBM at the time, and then he got
Does that sound
transferred
familiar?
over.
What?
Is it the technology thing?
Yeah, IBM.
Oh, okay. I was like, that sounds really familiar, but I didn't know for sure what it was.
They got the little commercials with the like
little
Watson.
Watson, the learning robot.
Yeah, creepy little looking robot.
Yeah, I don't like them.
That's awesome. When did you start rapping? Like, how old were you when you started rapping?
I was 11 years old when I started rapping.
Really?
11, 12, yeah.
That's super young. What were some of the influences that made you want to start rapping so young?
I think like the earliest would I think you guys would know this, right? Like Nintendo 64, right? That came out in 1996. For Christmas, like my first Christmas in the US, I got the limited edition Donkey Kong version. It's like the jungle one that's see-through, and it came with Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah.
And if you ever played that game, there's like the Donkey Kong rap in the beginning.
Yeah, Donkey Kong. Yeah, dude, that was where everyone had like their own like guns. Like Diddy Kong had like dual wielding like pistols.
Yeah, he shot
And, like
penis
Donkey
and
had.
shit.
That's right. That
Lanky
game's
Kong
tight.
was my favorite.
Lanky
He was the
Kong.
coolest one. He was the
It
one
was
with the
like
super long arms.
Oh yeah, I liked the girl with the little ponytail. She was cute.
Yeah.
The little monkey,
She
the
could,
little
like,
girl.
fly around with the ponytail. Yeah, that was probably the earliest that got me into hip hop music. It's funny to say that, but
Wait, the DK Donkey Kong theme song?
I think that was like the earliest that got me really into like.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my
It-
gosh.
Video games probably had like more of an influence than it should have because after
Mhm.
that, Tony Hawk's Underground in 2003, the
Yeah.
soundtrack from that game is like what got me into Nas, what got me
Bro,
into
Wow.
MF
I have
Doom.
a not shirt
that
on right now.
soundtrack's amazing, dude. I
Yeah.
literally last summer I downloaded like the Tony Hawk's Underground and Underground 2 soundtrack because
Mhm.
I bought Underground and played it last summer, and I literally just went out and bought a PS2 like a week ago and bought Underground 2, and I'm playing that right now,
That's
and it's
fucking
just
awesome.
amazing to hear the soundtrack again.
That's
I
you're so
literally-
lucky, man. My disc is all scratched up. I still
Oh,
have
dude,
it, but I can't
I
play
found it. I was so lucky. I found it at a thrift store for like $3.
That's a great deal.
I figure, buy a PS2 before like the nostalgia hits, because you know
Mhm.
this nostalgia expensive, market is, super expensive to go buy a Nintendo 64 now, right?
Yeah.
So I figure like the next consoles are gonna be like the newer ones, like PS2 was after that. So
Yeah.
But what other video games did you play?
In general, or the like ones that got me into
I guess
into
yeah, the
music?
ones that got you more into music, cause yeah.
I mean, I guess Guitar Hero, but there wasn't much hip hop music in that.
Mm-hmm.
The best game of all time, in my opinion, is Majora's Mask. That's the one game that like really stuck with me.
Oh,
when
the
I was-
Zelda game. Did you
Yeah,
ever play that?
I've never heard of it.
Oh,
I've heard of
really?
Zelda, but I never heard of
Yeah,
it.
it's a
I've
Zelda
never
on
played
the
a Zelda
Nintendo
game before.
64.
it's the weirdest one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that influence you, like with the music you listen to?
It's just like really psychedelic sounding.
Mhm.
Well, the game itself is really psychedelic, like looking, and it's very experimental. Like, if you played any of the older Zelda games, it went in a completely opposite direction, and that was like one of my first exposures to games. And I guess that kind of changed the way I looked at other forms of art in general.
Really?
Like if I would listen to something that sounds very, by the book, I wouldn't be as attracted to it as something that's more experimental, I guess.
Mm.
Does that apply to you now with music that you listen to? Do you listen to very experimental music now, or did that just happen when you were a kid in video games?
I mean, they kind of became a meme now, but like I love Death Grips. Death
Yeah.
Grips are like they're one of my favorite bands, and they're pretty
Mhm.
experimental.
Yeah, they're very experimental.
But
Should you try and figure
yeah, I
it out?
can't think
What
of
is
anything
Death Grips?
besides that.
Death Grips is like this hardcore rap band group.
Really? Like metal? Like metal?
It's like you.
It's hard to
It's like-
describe them.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Death Grips.
Death Grips.
There's a lot of yelling.
Yeah, it's a lot of yelling.
Sampling.
Jeez.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Sorry, one of the lights turned off, so he turned it back on.
When I hear
Oh,
Death
it's all
Grips,
good.
I think of
Death Grips is I remember one of their album covers was a picture of the drummer's dick.
Yeah,
Dick.
he literally like,
Uncensored, like it showed everything.
what?
And then they
wrote
had to like
name on
cover it
it.
up. Oh yeah, yeah.
or the name of the album. He wrote it on
Yeah.
his dick.
Dude, it's
It was
crazy.
funny.
Oh my
Do you know,
God.
every time I've talked to a couple people about like experimental stuff like that. Have you ever heard of clipping?
Yeah, clipping is. I guess they're like the most similar.
Yeah,
To
that's
Death
all I
Grips?
could think. I don't really listen to Death Grips. Like I've tried,
Yeah,
but I just can't. Like I can't, there's a couple songs I like. And it's from the Military album. I don't remember what the album's called, but it has like the,
ex-military.
yeah. And I've
Yeah.
tried, but like clipping I can deal with. Like I like clipping a lot. Like Brockhampton, I just showed him, is like very experimental and very dope.
Oh
and then-
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Run the Jewels is like
I
they're
was
experimental,
literally
but they're not,
thinking
like,
that
crazy
and
like
when
that.
I heard Death Grip, I kept wanting to say, is anything like Run the Jewels?
Yeah.
These are just like hard and aggressive.
And
hip-hop.
Brockhampton
Yeah.
is just not even like they're like I don't know if you heard of them, but it's like a boy band. They call themselves by Kevin Abstract. It's a very
It reminds me of Odd Future,
yeah, it's a very interesting.
like
Collective.
really like kind of skater-esque, stunt type,
Yeah.
very disturbing, but like in a very it's not very palatable for everyone.
Are we still talking about Brockhampton?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah, I saw Fantano's review for it like the other
Mm.
day,
Yeah,
and I started listening a little bit to it, but I didn't get through like the entire album.
It's I've never heard an album where you can like listen to it like that. It's the first song, very interesting, very hip hop, very like distorted and weird, and then the last track is just like this very soft, smooth singing. That like a R&B song. I'm like, wow, that's such a crazy contrast for an album. Yeah, but it's really good though. I really enjoyed it.
Are there any experimental albums that stand out to you that you've heard?
Man, I think this interview is going sort of the wrong way. I don't want to come off as like I'm this artsy fartsy, like only listen to experimental music guy.
Yeah.
I like a lot of shoegaze. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the shoegaze genre. Like My Bloody Valentine, their Loveless album.
Yeah.
I guess you could consider shoegaze sort of experimental. It's just like using a lot of distortion pedals on guitars and stuff like that. So
what are some of your what the other side of that? Your hip hop influences, like the roots of what you listen to in hip hop.
To me, MF Doom will always be number one.
Dude, this is the
he's
the one interview
all-time greatest.
Go get
in
it.
My book.
Go get the mask. It's right there.
You have a Doom mask?
Yeah,
dude.
Doom mask.
My Doom mask.
Heck yeah.
We have it in every
That's
interview,
awesome.
but we didn't put a lot up today, so we forgot about it
somewhere.
Did you get it online?
I did, yeah. I bought it online. It's like really like felt on the inside. It's really comfortable.
Yeah,
my nose
super
is big,
heavy.
so it kind of
awesome.
gets tight on my nose.
It's terrifying, and it's legit metal and like leather straps.
Yeah,
It's like
pretty cool.
really,
I'm so
really
jealous
piece
right
of
now.
armor.
I've been wanting to be Doom for Halloween for the longest time.
Yeah, dude. I actually just when I was in Europe, I just bought an MF Doom mask, an MF Doom vinyl, and anything I see from MF Doom that I can afford, I'll usually buy it because it's just like he's gonna be one of the greatest of all time. Like when it's all said and done, I think
He's a legend, man. Yeah. I really wish he would come to the States.
Yeah.
Do a tour or something.
Yeah, I want to get the MF Doom ring, but I don't wear rings, but I just want to get it to have.
Joey has one.
He does.
Joey Badass.
He does.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to get it because I saw him. It was like a picture of him holding like a mic or something, and it had it on his pinky, and that's why I wanted to buy it because I saw that picture, and I'm like, they have MF Doom rings.
Yeah.
And I looked them up, and I found one, and I'm gonna get it
That's
soon.
awesome.
I'm gonna get it soon.
I'm actually about to see Joey in like a month on the 27th.
Oh,
Oh
no
wow.
way.
Yeah, he's opening up for Logic.
Oh, he's
I'm gonna
opening
go
for
see
Logic.
Seriously?
Wow.
Wow. That sounds
Or
awesome.
maybe they're touring together and it's not like one's opening for the other. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But on like the poster or whatever, Logic's name was definitely bigger than Joey's, and then there was like big Lembo
Yeah.
that was on his album.
Logic. He's probably like his tour is in a like main event, I guess. That's awesome.
Wait, what was that?
So yeah, it's probably just like Logic's show. He's gonna go last. Probably
He's
be, like,
probably the
main
headliner,
event.
yeah.
The headliner, yeah.
Yeah.
So
To promote his new album.
So if you had to pick like 3 artists to see their concerts before you die, like no matter, like you have to see them, like who would you choose? Who would you put up there on your top 3?
Regardless of genre?
Yeah,
Dead or alive?
like have to. Alive. I mean, if you want to
Alive,
throw in dead,
yeah.
no, that's like everything.
Yeah,
That's
you
like
do
everything
alive.
you
You
can
can stick with alive.
including all the dead people in the world that have ever lived.
Definitely Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Doom is up there. Death Grips is another one. And Koji Kondo, the guy who made the Majora's Mask.
Oh, really?
OST. Yeah, I'd see Koji Kondo.
Does he do shows?
Does he do like yeah?
I think I mean, I went to there was a Zelda Symphony they had. They came to North Carolina last year, and they came again this year, but I didn't go this time.
Wow.
And that was like one of the best shows I've ever seen. It was just violins and like other string instruments, and that was really beautiful.
All playing like dope Zelda scores.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I could
that was
imagine
great.
that.
So I guess those 3.
That's tight. Da, 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 da,
Da,
da, da. That would be sick to
I
see
would-
like a huge spectacle and a show and the whole
Yeah,
orchestra.
no, they had like videos going along with it too.
Oh yeah,
From
that's
like each specific game.
I would love to see
It
that
was
like
such a good show.
an elegant orchestra and then just like terrible N64 graphics like Zelda like walking around all clunky.
Yeah,
I would love
all
that.
the polygons.
Yeah, the polygon graphics.
I probably wouldn't even be able to tell the theme song is Zelda if I heard it.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you would.
You're a singer right now. I'm like, that does not ring a bell.
Really? Did you ever play Smash Bros?
I didn't start playing Smash Bros until college. Like until like
Wow.
4 years ago. Like I was into video games as a kid, but it was like Halo and Crash Bandicoot and like Spyro, like that kind of stuff as a kid.
Yeah.
And then I just got kind of into sport games, and then when I got to college, I like played Smash Brothers for like the first time, and like
In college?
in college.
Oh.
That was like the one time I remember, but I was never into like Mario and stuff like that when I was a kid. I just never.
Did you grow up with a PlayStation 1?
Yeah, that was the first thing I ever had.
Yeah.
But I played Speed Punks and I played Spyro and I played Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation 1.
Spyro was the shit.
Yeah, I
pretty
love
cool.
that game.
You saw they made a remastered Crash recently for the
Yeah.
PS4. They took the 3 original games.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That looks really
It came
good
out.
too,
It
yeah.
came out wasn't it like a week ago or like
Yeah, just
something
came out
really soon.
Super,
It was
super
recent, yeah.
recent. I see people streaming it
I need
on
to pick
Twitch
that
and
up.
stuff.
Yeah. So it's like you said it's like a collection of all 3.
Yeah, like all
Yeah,
remastered.
it's the insane trilogy collection of the 3 PS1 games
Wow.
remastered.
Is it only PS4?
It looks really good.
Was
what
Is
was
it
that?
only PS4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only because it's Crash Bandicoot. It's PlayStation.
Yeah.
We can't play that on Xbox.
Yeah. I can't. I won't be able to get it. I only.
Do you guys both have Xbox?
Yeah, we both. We
I had
play
a-
Rocket League and
Rocket League.
I try to play Rocket League on PS4.
Yo, I think
I'm not good.
we talked about this too when I talked to you last time. I was like, I just found out like when I talked to you about it, it was the first time I ever really heard of Rocket League, and you're like, oh, I know what that is, and I'm like, how does everybody
on the
know
phone?
what this is? And I just found out about
you
it.
just
like, a couple
picked it
months
up like
ago.
a few months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's a really steep learning curve.
He's already almost better than me, probably because
it's
he's
fun.
played
I've
against
played
me.
a lot.
Damn.
Get better when
Can you do an aerial hit?
Yeah, I can do some
Yeah.
aerial
Like a
hits.
basic
I can do
aerial
some
hit.
aerial hits.
Some nasty ass shit. We got
But-
some like stuff recorded, tucked away that we could just like make a montage of and.
Just the weirdest goals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's
like
funny.
anything that happened in that game is pretty cool. But I like.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I had PlayStation 1 and 2 on my dad's side, then I had Xbox on my mom's side. And I went up to like PlayStation 2, got a PS3, got an Xbox 360 on my mom's side, and I kind of like just stuck with Xbox from then on. Like when Xbox 360 first came out, I got
Yeah.
it, and I kind of never stopped playing it, and I just stayed in Xbox. And I never went and
Yeah.
bought a PlayStation because I figured, well, I'll just keep Xbox.
Are there any modern
So-
video games that you play, like with your PS3? Anything that's like on your radar? You just love it, can't stop, can't put it down.
For PS4, I just played Life is Strange. It was the PS Plus free game of the month or
Yeah.
whatever for last month.
Life
That
is-
was a really good game. It's like one of those games where you make choices, and depending on your choices, like the story will play out differently. And the different thing about this game is that you can rewind time.
Whoa.
So if there's a choice that you don't like, you could just rewind it and like try to see if there's a better way of going around it.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's a recent game I
That's
played.
cool. I've been on Overwatch.
I don't know. I
crazy.
used to really be into Call of Duty. I had a 360 as well,
Mhm.
and I would play Modern Warfare 2 a lot and Black Ops 1.
Chill.
But I don't know. I got Black Ops 3, and it has all this weird jumping shit.
People keep
Can't get
jumping.
into it.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, they keep like running along the walls. I'm like, "Fuck is this?"
All the grenades
want
are
a
following
standard
you, and
FPS.
it's just too much
Yeah.
going on.
It's too much.
Dude, I hate that they do exclusives. Like Spider-Man is coming out for only PlayStation, and I'm really annoyed because I
That
play
looks
Spider-Man on either PS1 or 2, and Can't get it
I have
now.
it for Nintendo 64.
Really?
Like with the red cartridge, yeah.
just shoot them with the web, and they're like all entangled.
Yeah.
When I heard that, was really kind of sad that it only came out for PlayStation.
I didn't know it was coming out only
Me
for,
neither.
for
Yeah.
PS4.
That's like,
That sucks.
wow.
Yeah, it's
Now
kinda
we're all sad.
but
yeah,
I mean,
I've
we had Halo and PlayStation didn't. I get
Yeah.
if that is even the same.
I've been playing Overwatch like crazy, like nonstop.
Yeah. Yo, I've been playing Hearthstone.
No,
a lot.
really,
I know you're
yeah.
kind of into
No,
Hearthstone.
Did you tell me about that?
Yeah, yeah.
did, right?
I
The
told
card
you, you
magic
should check it
game
out
kinda
because
thing.
you play like the games the mobile games you play.
Yeah.
It's like I always see you on like a new Clash or a new Royale game, and I'm just like, you should
Hearthstone.
you
Yeah.
like
He's told me about
Hearthstone.
that. I just didn't know.
It's like a simplified Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, exactly. It's like streamlined. You don't have to worry about
Yeah.
where the cards go and
I play a lot of that.
attacking.
I
and
get all the
stuff.
daily quests done like every single day. I'm probably too into it. I don't spend any money though. Like I refuse to
Really, I don't either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only like before they used to have adventure sets where like you would pay $20 and you would get like these little missions because the whole game is just playing against other people. So I bought the actual adventure sets, but spending money on packs, I'll never do that because that's too much money like being spent. You will just keep buying more and more.
That would be like the start of going down a rabbit hole. That would probably be a slippery slope if I started buying packs.
Yeah.
That'd be too much.
So many apps now are like pay to win.
Yeah.
Is it pay to win or pay to play? What is it? Pay to win, I think. Where you got to just spend money, and that's the only way you can really get super high in ranks and stuff.
Yeah.
You can build really, really like effective decks, but like if you want to just get there quicker, and you'll probably get better decks. And people go and search out the meta of the game, like the best thing you could possibly do, and just keep running that. Like I hate that. I love like building my own decks. And like playing the game and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, rather than going on a website and just copying a deck.
Yeah.
And just finding out what the pros are playing or whatever, and then buying those cards.
Have you played recently? Like
I haven't played. I think it's been like a week, 2 weeks or 3 weeks since I last played.
Right.
But I still hop on
There's
it.
like
and just,
Pirate Warrior everywhere.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's
the worst one.
It's just cancer. I just run like I have a Paladin Murloc deck.
Yeah. That's another
love.
like top tier one.
Yeah. I ended up making something very close to like a meta deck.
Without looking at it online?
No, I looked at a ton of different decks for like advice, and then I found out like Paladin was better to set up Murlocs, and I already had a bunch of Murloc cards. I liked Murlocs.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one gives a shit on the...
No, you keep talking, that's fine.
So, like,
this is like WWE for you.
Exactly. This is like only like 10% of the people watching are just like, yes. Yes.
Everyone else is like, what the fuck are they talking about?
And then 2% is just like, oh my gosh, you're the guy, Paladin Murloc, like, unsubscribe, dislike the video.
At least you're not Pirate Warrior. Fuck that.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, I didn't even have like...
Here.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
well, hey man, if you ever want to get into it again, like I have the 80 gold quest to play against a friend, and I think I got you added. So.
Oh yeah, no, true. I do have you added, so we'll have to hook it up.
Definitely.
My friend does that quest. Yeah, that's it. Now you have to get into it, TJ, so you know what we're talking about.
We do an interview in like 2 years. I'm like, all right, so I started Hearthstone. You're like, oh, you're still on that? We're over here on Schmarthstone. It's like way better, dude.
Schmarthstone.
Well,
that's funny. So one thing I want to talk to you about is like your sound and your flow, and the fact that I told him today you're like a chameleon when you rap, because you adjust very well to like what you're rapping over. And I was hanging out with Misfit yesterday, and I was talking to him about it, and it was the first time I listened to Impulse, and he told me he was trying to mimic your flow as a challenge to see if he could do it, and he did pretty well.
Right.
But
yeah,
like you have so many songs like what is it, Itachi Sword Sharp?
Yeah. That
are just crazy aggressive. Then you have other songs that are just like rock steady. They're just very like relaxed, and I'm like, wow, that's the same person. And you're really good at doing it, but like, did you always rap like that, or did you figure out a way with your mouth or like to make your voice sound so different?
I mean, everyone has to find their sound, and like for me, it took a very long time, and I think I'm still sort of finding it too. Cause see, I don't know if like I should just stick to having a more aggressive sound or a more mellow sound. Cause if I ever compile a tape together, or if I want to make a project, I'm worried it won't sound cohesive. Like it'll sound super disjointed. Like if I have Impulse on there or something, if I have Counting My Blessings, that's two completely different songs. It doesn't even sound like the same thing. But yeah, when I started, it was the same as anybody else. Like I was 12 when I actually started recording. I was 11 when I started writing, and 12 when I started recording. And just like anybody else, like I sounded super timid. Like you could barely hear me. I was like whispering into the mic, you know. And it just started like I wanted to be more aggressive on songs. so I started like rapping more from my nose, and it sounded more nasally, and it sounded a lot more clearer that way, right? But then like Odd Future came out, and I was pretty big into Odd Future back in the day, like in 2010, around there.
Yeah.
And Tyler the Creator and Earl all had like super like gruff, like low voices. And then I got a little bit of influence from that, and like none of this is online right now because I took it all down. But there's songs where I tried to like go for a lower sound in my voice, and it just sounded like I had like a cold or something. So it's just a lot of experimentation and enunciating certain syllables to make sure that you're getting across what you want to get across. Because like some subtle consonants are lost if you don't pronounce them correctly. Like one thing in Impulse that I tried to get right so many times that I just couldn't is that there's this one line where it's like, please God, can I be him? Can't I be him? Right? Getting the T in the word can't is so hard because like it'll always sound like can. Just enunciating that T, like just the small little details,
especially
like that.
When you're going fast.
Yeah, when you're going fast, that just gets lost and everything else that's around it.
And it's completely opposite. Like that one T makes a sentence a completely opposite of what you're trying to say. Yeah.
So like, for me, recording I'm very like nitpicky about every syllable when I record, and I'll do like 10 plus takes.
Wow.
Of any one track. Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember, I know, like, just from listening to rap throughout my life, like, not pronouncing every syllable and every word was, like, a big thing that rappers
just, like,
did.
slurring it.
Yeah, like, especially, like, from, like, the South and stuff where it's, like, there's so many words that are, like, even when you try and make two words rhyme, you try and tweak a word to make it sound like the word you're rhyming it with. Like, so I think it's pretty cool that you do it that way.
I mean, you definitely have to do that, too, where you have to adjust how some words are said to fit with the rest of the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the ing is like the one that's everybody like does like ball in. This is a balling. It's always like ball. Like it's just little things like that. It's funny.
So when you're like trying to enunciate a word or even alter like the cadence of your voice, how do you identify what words and when to do that in your verses?
I don't like it's become so automatic now. I don't even know, like it just depends on the beat, I guess, because I'll rarely ever write something without having a beat to write over. Like I know a lot of people or some rappers, like they'll write something a cappella with no beat at all and then they'll find a beat later on. But for me, like I'll listen to a beat and I'll pay attention to the different instruments that are being used in the beat, the different percussion like that's in the actual drums of it. If like the snare and the kick is going a certain way, like I'll try to enunciate more on the snare and then like pull back a little bit on the kick. I don't know if I'm explaining it well enough, but it's very based on the beat and the rhythm of the like the music behind it. Did that make sense?
Do you understand that?
I do, yeah. Like the nuances change. So so you have so many different. What were you saying?
Sorry. Yeah, like the track we did together. For that, like first I listened to the hook section, like with the sax or the horns or whatever was in there.
Yeah.
And you had like some sort of little vocal sample in there, I think, and it sounded like the guy was saying like "come again" or something like that.
Oh, and then that's why you started your verse like that.
Yeah. I started my verse like that because I heard something that sounded like that in the hook part.
Okay.
And then I sort of carried on that rhythm throughout.
That's funny. I literally listened to that song.
Yeah, you were asking me about that.
And I'm like, what did you? I asked him what he said because I heard you say "come again," and I'm like, wait, that sounds like what Cole was saying, but I didn't know if that's what he said or not. So it's funny that you said that.
Yeah.
I was just guessing. Did he actually say something? Like,
it was like, I believe I said like "come on" and then just delayed it, and so it just kept repeating over and over. Like, fun fact about that song is I wrote and recorded it like 2 years ago,
wow.
and I never like it was supposed to be like this cipher to have multiple people, because that was the concept. It was like Venn diagram, like multiple perspectives. And I was supposed to have a bunch of rappers on it, and then just stuff just fell through. And I revisited it, and I was just like, I didn't want to change anything. Like TJ was like, if you're gonna put it out, you better put like another verse on it, so it's not just one verse. But it was meant to be like what it was, and like I didn't change most of the song. But yeah, that's like the fun fact. It's like a 2-year-old song, so I believe I was saying like, come on. And,
shit! I didn't even know that was you. I thought that was like a sample from somewhere else.
All the vocal parts during that part, there is like me going like, hey, come on. You know what? The influence of that was probably around Logic's Under Pressure, or at least maybe his no, it was Under Pressure, where Logic's like yeah. That's probably where I got the influence from. But yeah,
and that was about 2-3 years ago as well.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
That Under Pressure came
Was
out.
that song hard for you to write to, like the beat? Because I heard it was challenging. Like it was like a kind of a more challenging instrumental.
Yeah. I got through like half of the verse, and then I just got in a slump. Like I couldn't finish the second half, and so like I sat on the first half for like at least a month until I actually like was able to sit down and finish writing the rest of it. Because I wasn't really sure like where I was going with it. Like with Cole and with Dismissed Fit, it had more of like they fit the theme a lot better, I feel, than my verse did. Where I was talking more about what brings us together in terms of like games and stuff. Like in the beginning I was talking about like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and then at the end I was talking about like Smash Brothers and like Tony Hawk, and it was very focused on that too much. I don't know, I feel like it could have been broader.
What's interesting is like when I wrote up the email to the rappers that ditched me, like I literally pitched to them. I was like, if you guys want to rap about like what
video games in your childhood,
video games, because one of them like would play like the Genesis or whatever, and I'm just like, if you want to like rap about video games, like that'd be awesome, because like that brings us together. So you literally like made
perfect.
Unintendedly like fit the concept that I was hoping like someone would bring
write
into.
about. Yeah, because there wanted to be he wanted to have a verse in there about video games, which is a huge part of childhood in that area of the song. So it was perfect.
That's funny. Well, I'm glad it fit.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So when you're rapping, you have a bunch of different cadences that you pull from, like maybe an aggressive voice, like a more melodic voice, whatever. Now, do you have those classifications that like, okay, I'm going to use like an aggressive voice? I was talking to TJ earlier. Is it like a Nicki Minaj scenario where you have like a character for each voice that you're like portraying in a song? Or what's the dynamic between like the using different voices?
I don't think there's a character in between.
Is it just like how you rap, just like a response to how you write and how you rap?
Yeah. I mean, for me, like I said, like whenever I write, I always do it to a beat. So if I were to listen to the song I did with Atwood, if I were to listen to the Counting My Blessings beat, I wouldn't be able to write an aggressive verse over that. It would have to be more either mellow or a little bit more melodic with like an actual like melody going along with it.
I often feel
boom bap. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, I often feel like when someone uses like a different voice when they're rapping, it often comes off as like disingenuous. But yours, you kind of take it to a place where it makes sense that you're using the voice that you are when you're rapping during a certain part in the sound. So what do you think goes into having it fit so well?
I mean, if I were to rap over a beat using my regular speaking voice, like that wouldn't be interesting. Like my regular speaking voice is a lot lower than my like. I'm not gonna do it right now because people are sleeping in this house. But like my aggressive, high pitched, rapping voice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was the question again?
It was like, what do you think lets you like come off genuine while using a voice that's different than the voice that you normally have?
Well, I think it's less about how your voice sounds, and it's more about your subject matter and like what you're actually saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of my songs am I talking about like killing people, am I talking about like drug dealing, or like anything that I'm not about, you know?
Yeah.
So if I were to be using my rap voice and talking about these things as well, then I feel like that would come off a lot more disingenuous than if I were just talking about whatever else that I'm talking about.
And I think that's like a really good positive, because when I found you, I think I've said this before, when I found you, the Covert Progress Collective is where I found you at. And like,
Yeah.
I'm on iTunes. I think I said this in another interview, but my iTunes, I have a Covert Progress Collective like artist name, and I have all the songs from that collective in there that I liked. And every single one of them is a Thiago song. It's like one of your songs. Because when I found that collective, you were the first one that I found in there for some reason, and I just started playing your stuff, and I never went back to it because I got your stuff, and then I kind of just, that was it. Like, I just didn't go back because I was like distracted by your stuff. But you have a very fresh voice and a very fresh flow and sound, and you don't sound like anybody, which I really enjoy, because there's so much music that comes out. And whenever I see you like featured on something, I'm like, all right, I'm like super excited for that verse to happen, because you're very different in each song that you rap on, and I think that's a really good thing.
Thank you.
And if you go back to like when you were talking about your album, like if you made an album or project and you were like you'd be kind of nervous about how to sound, I think having two different voices, or not two different voices, the same voice, but if you like having multiple sounds when you rap could be a beneficial thing, because I think depending on where you want to go with that project, like you can make it a story, like a storytelling project. You could be like characters, like he said, and you could do a lot of things with having kind of like, I just call it a gift, because it kind of is a gift. A lot of people can't do that. So I think you could do a lot of different things with multiple perspective or multiple voices and have different perspectives.
Well, it gives you like so much more dynamic to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, what you were talking about earlier with like worrying that like a project might not sound conducive because of like these changes in vibes, it's like the first thing I thought of was like a Kendrick Lamar album, where like he has so many cadences and vibes and tones throughout the album, but it still sounds like a collective like piece of artwork. So I think that just adds a complete like dynamic for you to like expand the album rather than it sounding disjointed.
Yeah. Especially if it's all part of one, like, I guess, I don't want to say story because it doesn't always have to be a story, but as long as it all kind of fits the mold of what you write, like, I feel like as long as you write consistently, then it would be cool to have different moods and different tones and different ways of rapping. So I feel like it could be a good beneficial thing, especially with, like, how you sound. So, yeah. I think it turned out pretty cool. I think it turned out pretty cool.
I never thought about all that before.
Do you only have one project out?
I have right now, like on the Bandcamp, I have 2.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I think I have Burnt Lotus is up there.
Yeah, that's one I have.
I don't really like.
Oh, really? I love that project. That's funny.
Everything like pre-2016 is kind of, I don't know. I don't even know when that came out. Was that 2016?
It was,
I
could look. It was August 2015.
Yeah.
Damn, almost 2 years
It had a little bit of a different sound.
Yeah.
There's that, and then there's Bravo.
From November of 14.
Yeah. Sam's is on there.
Oh. Yeah, I've listened to Burnt Lotus. Like, when I first heard you, I listened to that a lot. And I just found out right before this interview, because we're doing Crosby, that he's on track number 2, and I like literally just saw that, and I don't think I've gone back to it since finding out about like who Crosby is and stuff. So that never like made a connection in my mind. I'm like, what the heck? They did a song together, and I've heard this song many times, not realizing that's who that was.
Oh, really?
It was weird.
Crosby, he's from North Carolina too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're interviewing him next.
Yeah, tomorrow.
We're excited about it.
Tomorrow, I'm excited.
Yeah, I never met him before, but he's a really cool guy. Like, Or he seems like a really cool guy.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So as we're kind of wrapping up, are there any projects, whether it be an album or any features, any stuff you want to tell us, any singles that you're working on currently?
Shit. I know there's a feature track with Atwood coming out soon. That's gonna be part of the project he's putting together. In terms of a tape, I have to get back in there, man, because like my last solo track that I put out on my SoundCloud, that was Splat, and that was 7-8 months ago. That was like back in November, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've just been doing features, and like I'll go to my inbox and I'll like sift through them and like work on some of them. But besides that, I think I need to focus more on like doing my own project or my own tape or something. I just don't know where to start.
I was thinking about that today because I saw that you had like when I was on your SoundCloud, I saw you had a lot of features, and I'm like, man, I wonder when he's gonna put the project out.
Where do you
have a lot of
see?
features.
Where do you see your? Where do you see yourself in the music that you're doing right now? Where do you see it going in the near future?
I mean, I'm okay with how it's going right now. Music has always been a release for me. I feel like a lot of people say that it's always like an outlet or a release. In terms of like making it a career and like putting all my chips in it, I just have to see like where that'll go after I finish school. So like I have one more semester left and I'll be done in December.
Wow. Early graduation.
Right. Yeah, what are you studying?
I'm studying media. That's my major, and then my minor is statistics and English.
Wow. Do you like have any other plan or like goal you want to follow besides rap for a career, or is rap something you really like want to push toward as a career?
I don't know, man.
Not sure yet. We'll wait. See after your semester of school ends.
Up, dude.
Like I, if it was easier to do, like, nah, fuck that shit. That sounds pussy as fuck. It's just so like there's so much competition out there, and like so many people telling you that you can't.
Yeah.
And I guess you just have to like, if I ever do decide to fully go after it, I just have to say fuck everything else and just like go 100%.
Yeah.
You know. One thing I definitely want to do eventually is get back into making my own beats, because I used to do some of that on the side, and for me that's the biggest thing, is just like finding beats. Because I know like we were talking before about like charging for collabs and stuff like that, and like I rarely ever, I think I only paid for a beat once before. I've never paid for a beat besides, and that was only like $15 or something like that. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Where I was going with that.
You want to start getting back into producing?
Yeah, get back into producing. Just having like a consistent sound with the production side of it, because that's like, if not more than half. Like, it's a huge chunk.
Yeah, it's like half the song, literally. Yeah.
Yeah. And Cole, like, I respect that you make your own beats as well as rap. I respect that a lot, because like, a lot of rappers, if they didn't have their producers, they wouldn't be what they are like today.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
So,
did you produce anything on Burnt Lotus, or did you not? Did you stop producing by then?
I stopped producing by then. I'd put out a beat tape like 2013. I made so many beats on FL Studio, and I was using the demo version. So like you couldn't save it and go back to it. You had to export it right then and there. So I had like hundreds of different beats. But then my hard drive died on that computer, so I lost like everything except for like a few of them.
Wow.
And I kind of got discouraged since then.
Damn, that I could imagine.
I switched from PC to Mac, and like Mac, you have to like go through boot camp or whatever to run FL Studio. So,
oh boy.
You use Logic, right?
Yep. Logic Pro X.
Yeah. And you have tutorials up. I need to check out your...
Yeah, go check out them new tutorials up. You know, we're doing the beginner series. Go check it out. Well, sure. With anything else, is there anything you want to plug? I mean, go listen to our song. It's out, Venn Diagram. I'll plug that. I don't mind. Is anything you want to plug?
Yeah.
Twitter,
The
Instagram.
Yeah, check out
TVAWGO.
on Twitter, on SoundCloud.
All internet sites for the most part.
Yep. Check out all the internet sites.
Snapchat, Instagram,
Yeah.
SoundCloud, Twitter, Facebook. Even though I don't use like any of these except for SoundCloud. Really.
Yeah. Links in the description. All that.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome. It was good talking to you. Finally.
absolutely great conversation.
Yeah.
For you guys.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been a
For
pleasure.
you guys watching at home, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far at the end of the video, please let us know. We love to see how many of you guys get this far. Let us know in the comments section below. And leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed and want to see more content like this. I'm Cole, and
TJ.
we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.